Hey guys, what's going on? James here. Today we are talking about the possibility of a Jameis Winston suspension. It has recently been reported just a very few short minutes ago that Jameis Winston's camp is expecting Winston to be suspended at a maximum of 3 games for an incident that stems back all the way into 2016 where Winston was accused of groping an Uber driver. So, I've been holding this topic on for a very long time because there was no conclusive evidence of what's going to go either way, and it took so long, and I figured there was just really no point in addressing this topic, but now we've kind of reached possibly a decision, so I guess now is as good of a time as ever to talk about it, considering I've been holding off for so long. And actually, if you want to go check out a live stream that myself and the Pewtercast did, Brent and Ren, it's going to be up in the top eye icon on the top right of the screen, where we actually talked about this incident in the live stream as well towards the end. So if you want to go check that out as well, go see that and get their opinions on the situation as well. But anyway, going back now, like I said, this situation stems all the way back from 2016, where Winston was again accused of groping an Uber driver. Now, the driver had stated that Winston reached over and grabbed her crotch while they were in a drive-thru at a Mexican restaurant. Now, the NFL said that this matter was under investigation. Now, they said this all the way back in November of 2017. Now, fast forward 8 months, we are finally now to a period where it looks like a decision is finally coming to fruition. As, like I said, Winston's camp and his agents and whatnot are all saying that a suspension is more likely or coming for up to 3 games. Now, I know what a lot of Bucs fans have been saying over the course of these investigations and this talks that we've had about all of this is, there's not enough evidence to support the Uber driver's claims, because Ronald Darby said that he was in the car and he said that these claims are false, and Jameis Winston immediately came out and said these claims are false. I mean, the Buccaneers were also becoming increasingly frustrated with these investigations. So why would Jameis Winston get suspended? Well, there's a couple of reasons. One, and this is the main reason, this is what they will say why he did not get why he would be getting suspended. This is one of the big reasons, is because he failed to report the incident when it happened, and that kind of falls underlined to the NFL's personal conduct policy. And what that means, I guess in rule standards, is you didn't tell us this happened, so you're going to be punished for it. Now, obviously, I'm not going to get into the intricacies of all the details that go along with that very loaded and very controversial statement of Jameis Winston is going to get suspended. The main reason that Jameis Winston is going to get suspended for this is because he did not report it. I'm not going to get into the controversial situation of that. We talked about it a lot in the live stream. But one thing I do want to talk about is the reason that the NFL does make decisions like this is because they have to keep a standard. And that standard is if we don't have enough conclusive evidence from one side or the other, we're always going to go with the defendant. The one that's making the claims, because that's just what they have to do to kind of, be safe, be on the safer side. They have to do it. Just to keep their image good and to make sure that the NFL doesn't look like a league that doesn't support these types of claims when they're made and doesn't take them seriously and, that kind of stuff. I'm sure a lot of you know what I'm talking about. So that's kind of why that's happening. And it's very unfortunate, but that is unfortunately the way things are. Now, I'm not going to go into whether or not I feel that Jameis Winston is right, he's wrong. I don't know, and we will probably never know. And that's a very unfortunate thing, but it does not understate the fact that Jameis Winston, it sounds like he's probably going to get suspended. So the question then remains, and then pops up, is what's going to happen with this Tampa Bay Buccaneers if Jameis Winston is suspended a maximum of 3 games like his party is saying? Well, the games that Jameis Winston would be missing, and a lot of people are assuming that would be suspension at the start of the season. There's no reason why it wouldn't be. The games that he would be missing is New Orleans, Philadelphia, and Pittsburgh. It would be an away game against New Orleans, and then 2 home games, one against Philadelphia, one against Pittsburgh, that Pittsburgh game being on Monday Night Football. So we are playing 3 playoff teams, One of them went to the NFC Championship game, I believe. No, sorry. One of them was, division winner. New Orleans Saints went to the divisional game in the playoffs. One of them was an AFC divisional game. Pittsburgh Steelers, they went to the AFC divisional game and lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Saints lost to the Minnesota Vikings, and then the Super Bowl winning Philadelphia Eagles. So that's pretty rough. A lot of Bucs fans were already really unsure about these games, and they thought like, oh, there's no way we're going to win these games. I remember I made a video talking about how these games are winnable when I went over the schedule. I did a little discussion about that and was talking about how, all of these games are winnable. Never think that these games aren't winnable. This certainly would make things a lot more difficult because we wouldn't have our franchise quarterback for the first three games of the year. I don't think it's a season-busting suspension under any circumstances. If it does hold, we don't know yet. But if it does, I don't think the Buccaneers will end up losing. It's like, oh, season's over. Throw up your hands. It's over. No, I don't think that at all. Like the Pewtercast, Brent and Ren said in the live stream, they talked about, the defense. The defense is the key when playing those three teams. If the defense holds, then we should still have a chance. And I kind of tend to agree with that. I still think that that is a very viable thing. I still think that is a very viable take, and I still feel that the defense would be a very big part in winning those games. But if you are a Bucs fan, obviously the question after that is, what's going to happen with these first three games? Well, okay, it's going to be tougher to win, and you can rely on your defense. That's the answer. The second question is, who's going to start at quarterback? What? We won't have Jameis, so who are we going to have? Well, you have two options for that. You have Ryan Fitzpatrick, and you have Ryan Griffin. Now, the first guy that I want to talk about is definitely the more proven veteran of the two, and probably the guy who's going to end up starting these games if a Winston suspension does hold. It's going to be Ryan Fitzpatrick. Now, Fitzpatrick has been in the league since 2005. Obviously, he doesn't have a great draft pedigree. He was, I believe, a 7th-round pick, but he's still been in the league for 2005 as a 7th-round pick. That is definitely saying something. He's been a starter for multiple teams. Now, the thing that I kind of like about Ryan Fitzpatrick and makes me think that, okay, he'll be fine, is Fitzpatrick is shown to be a very calm, very game manager-esque type of quarterback, and that's kind of something I feel that the Bucs can work with. The Bucs have a large amount of talent surrounding whichever quarterback plays week 1, week 2, and week 3. You have guys like Cameron Brate, O.J. Howard, Deshaun Jackson, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Adam Humphries, not only to mention that you have a brand new running back in Ronald Jones, a returning Peyton Barber, and an offensive line that sports Donovan Smith, Ali Marpet, newly signed center Ryan Jensen, a right guard to be determined. It could be J.R. Sweezy, it could be Alex Kappa, it could be Caleb Benenoch, and then a right tackle featuring DeMar Dotson. So you have a pretty decent offensive core surrounding whatever quarterback who is going to start these first 3 weeks, and I feel that that's going to be very important for that quarterback moving forward. But moving on to Ryan Fitzpatrick, like I said, still talking about it, Fitzpatrick's kind of a very calm pocket passer-esque quarterback, but he can run when he needs to. He's shown the ability to get out of the pocket and just try and make plays when he needs to. He's a game manager, but he can go out there and be a playmaker when he needs to. He's a veteran quarterback. He's not stupid. The guy went to Harvard. Come on, the guy went to Harvard. He's very smart, and I feel that he'll be able to he obviously will know what he's doing if he has to go out there and start the first 3 games. Even last year when Jameis Winston was dealing with that shoulder injury and he didn't end up missing the first, 3 games due to that shoulder injury where he was completely out, Ryan Fitzpatrick was able to come in and actually lead the Buccaneers to a 2-1 record. If the Buccaneers get that with those first 3 games, I think everybody will be partying in the streets, because that means that we have either beaten a combination of the Eagles and the Steelers, the Eagles and the Saints, or the Saints and the Steelers. That's awesome. That would be awesome. I'm sure everybody would be screaming playoffs at least, playoffs at least, and especially with Ryan Fitzpatrick under the helm, a lot of people would feel a lot more confident about Jameis Winston coming back, and they'd feel a lot more confident about our backup quarterback situation. I'm sure there would even be fans clamoring for Fitzpatrick to remain the starter for the rest of the season. So it'll be very interesting to see what Fitzpatrick can do. I feel he can go out there and still win these games. Yeah, and I still definitely believe it's possible. Absolutely. But let's say that Ryan Fitzpatrick can't go. It's either he gets injured or he just flat out doesn't do very good. What's our next option? Well, Ryan Griffin would be our next option. Now, Ryan Griffin's a very interesting case because he's been with the Buccaneers for a couple of years now. We actually ended up getting him from the New Orleans Saints. And it's a really weird situation because we've had him on the team for so long and he's never dressed for an NFL game, like regular season. He's played in the preseason. And he's never thrown a pass in an NFL season game. So it's like, why is he on our team again? The reason that he's on our team is because the coaching staff has felt for the longest time now that he is a potential backup quarterback of the future. It's been such a weird thing in Ryan Griffin because it always seems like he has that potential to be the backup quarterback. I know fans have been saying like, oh, he's eventually going to be our backup quarterback. When's that going to take place? Because Fitzpatrick came in and performed very well, and now you still have Griffin on the roster. It's a very strange situation. Maybe this is finally going to be the chance where Griffin gets this opportunity to go out there and play some games. Like what Brenton Wren said on the Pewtercast in our live stream yesterday. They said last year Griffin had a very impressive preseason, and he even looked better than Jameis Winston in some cases in camp and practices and stuff like that. So maybe now this is the opportunity to say, okay, Griffin, show us what you can do. Go out there for these first 3 games against really tough opponents and just see what you can do. And I'd be very interested to see what Ryan Griffin can do as well. Obviously, we don't have a sample size. We don't know what he can do in games because we don't have a history of it. He's never played in an NFL regular season game before. That's kind of why I figured that Ryan Fitzpatrick is probably the favorite to start if a Jameis Winston suspension happens. We don't know if it's going to happen yet, but keep in mind his camp does expect it to happen. So I do feel that Fitzpatrick would be the guy to start in that scenario. I just kind of feel if he doesn't do so good, maybe you go out there and see what Ryan Griffin can do. I don't know, it's just an option. But I definitely want to hear what your guys' opinions are about all of this down in the comment section below. Do you think now that Jameis Winston's camp expects a suspension, do you feel that he is going to be suspended? If he is suspended, do you agree with the suspension? Do you disagree with the suspension? And then also, what do you feel about the prospects of possibly starting Ryan Fitzpatrick for the first 3 weeks, or even Ryan Griffin for the first 3 weeks? Let me know all of this down in the comment section below. I do hope you guys all enjoyed the video. Keep on hitting that like button so you let me know that you guys enjoy these types of videos, and thank you guys so much for watching. We're on the road to 2,000, so that should be pretty fun. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next video, but until then, goodbye for now, guys. See ya.